Thanks for joining us here at Live Now from Fox as we are continuing to discuss the federal government shutdown and also some of the impacts that are still being felt, specifically when it comes to air travel. But this does come as, commercial airlines, they are resuming some of their normal flights after some of those restrictions were first imposed. So we do have some team coverage coming in from two partners at Fox 29 Philadelphia. Greg Payne is going to be joining us to talk about how some of these travelers are reacting. But first, we're going to start with Haley Fixler over at Fox 5 in New York. Haley, what can you tell us? You're joining us from LaGuardia.
Good morning, Corral. You know what? We did see some good progress this morning and over the weekend with a minimal amount of delays and cancellations, but we are seeing those numbers start to jump again this morning. So we have 58 delays here at LaGuardia and 7 cancellations. We're seeing 192 delays at JFK right now. So it looks like it is going to take some time for things to bounce back to what they were before the shutdown. But officials say they really did make sure that the staffing level was safe and good to go before they lifted this order. So let's break this all down. 40 airports all across the country, major ones, including JFK, Newark, and LaGuardia. They all had emergency reductions in flights earlier this month because of the shortage of air traffic controllers and other staff members. And the government shutdown, the longest one in history, fueled the problem, prompting an extraordinary number of flight delays and cancellations across the country. Officials say there were some safety issues with the lack of staffing. So that includes planes getting too close in the air and some runway incursions, and some pilots voiced some concerns. But now things should be starting to get back to normal. The FAA Administrator and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, they issued a joint statement last night saying that staffing conditions now align to pre-shutdown levels. They added in part, quote, the FAA safety team recommended the termination of the order following their detailed reviews of safety trends and the steady decline of staffing trigger events in air traffic control facilities. And again, things had started to improve over the weekend. The number of flights canceled over the last couple of days, it was the lowest number since that emergency order came down. Duffy also says that he is amping up his focus and previous promise to hire more air traffic controllers and to improve their technology and their systems. And again, the timing for this, a lot of people who we've spoken to here at the airport, they're hoping that things continue to progress for Thanksgiving travel next week. In fact, the FAA is now the AAA is now projecting 82 million. They're set to travel for the holiday week. 73 million people are taking to the roads because they are concerned with delays and cancellations. So things are improving, but it could take some time for things to bounce back. Live at LaGuardia Airport, Corral, back to you.
All right, Haley, thanks so much for joining us there. We are going to turn it now over to Greg Payne with our team at Fox 29 in Philadelphia. Greg, I know that you spoke with some travelers about some of the improvements.
Yeah, no, Corral, I mean, to be honest, things have been very smooth here at Terminal E at the Philadelphia International Airport. And you can just see right here for TSA, it is saying that it is 3 to 8 minutes. And you can just see people are able to fly on by, be able to go through that security checkpoint. Now, Corral, I want to show you over here is normally where they have a lot of the backup. If it's really backed up, they have it all the way over here. And there's normally people that are lined all throughout. But you can just tell that things are going very, very smoothly. Now, the final check that you always got to look up at is that big board right there. And you're not seeing many delays. There's just a couple sprinkled in there. But for the most part, you're seeing on time, and on time. Now, as of 6 a.m., as you mentioned, the FAA flight restrictions have been lifted from 40 major airports, including PHL. The limits were originally put in place on November 7 due to ongoing government shutdown. It cut flight volumes by up to 6% amid air traffic controller shortages. 2 days after the restriction was put in place, airports dealt with the most issues, with airlines cutting about 2,900 flights. Now, earlier this morning, we had an opportunity to speak with some folks that were coming in from Orlando to Philadelphia, and they had quite the journey.
We were delayed this time around coming back home. Our flight was actually delayed twice. Therefore, we were supposed to get in a few hours ago, and hence the time now is 3 a.m.
It was like I'll say like about 4 or 5 hours late. Yeah, because it was supposed to leave like at 10, and then we ended up, it was delayed by a couple hours.
I'm guessing frustrating?
Yeah, that's why I don't like, Frontier.
If you notice, my kids are tired. He's been fighting his sleep all night. My 5-year-old, again, he still has to go to school in the morning, and my 16-year-old still has to be there in the morning. I still got to go to work in the morning. So it's very frustrating. It's such a big inconvenience.
West and F here at the Philadelphia International Airport remain closed. It was closed down because of the shortages, but we have been asking airport staff when that is going to be reopened. They are unsure at this point in time, but hearing these restrictions be lifted, it comes at a perfect time. As we've been talking about it, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so won't be having, hopefully, to deal with a lot of issues during the Thanksgiving rush. Corral?
All right, Greg Payne, thanks so much joining us down there with our team at Fox 49 in Philly. You take care. I want to bring us out to a couple of live images that we do have. Once again, we were joined a little earlier on today by Haley Fixler over at LaGuardia Airport. So we do have this, a live picture just outside of that airport. It was one of the ones that was experiencing a lot of those impacts from the federal government shutdown. And I also have this, a social media post from Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy, in which he says this, quote, "The FAA News has determined that normal flight operations can resume after multiple days of positive staffing with air traffic controllers in our towers. Now we can refocus our efforts on hiring and building the state-of-the-art air traffic control system the American people deserve." Stay with us here at Live Now from Fox, because throughout the day today, we will be checking in with several of our partners across the country as they are also detailing some of the disruptions and some of the improvements that have been made at airports since the federal government shutdown came to an end last week. And this is a live image that you have out there in the airport in Philly. We'll be right back.